I take you as a person and I consider 5 domains, and that's your physical body,
Okay.
your mental domain, emotional, spiritual, and practical. What do you want at end of life? How do you want your body to be taken care of? And we take each of those, we break you.
Hey guys, this is Matt Helton with One Trust Home Loans and the Serving Senior Podcast. And we're lucky today. We have Miss Terri Law. She's going to share with you how she has been in the senior world, serving seniors for over 20 years. And she's going to enlighten us on something that you may or may not have ever heard of. Her title is End of Life Doula. So look forward to sharing how that works and what she does. And as you know, this podcast is designed for professionals to find people that can help their clients that are in that senior citizen age, but also to help seniors on their own find those professionals that can help them in certain areas in their life to make sure they don't just survive, but thrive in retirement. So without further ado, I'm going to give Miss Terri Law the floor. Terri, thank you for coming. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Matt. Having an awesome day today. Weather's beautiful. The heat's let down just a little bit on us, so we just absolutely can't complain. A great day to be out looking for seniors that we can help and offering research, guidance, and direction.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure we've wet their whistle on what an end of life doula is, but maybe before we do that, if you could maybe give us some background where you are, maybe a little bit of your journey to get to this point with your, over 20 years of helping seniors would be great.
Thanks, Matt. I'd love to. I am a licensed practical nurse and have held that license since right before 2000. So been there a long time working in healthcare. Because of that, I like to learn things and move on. So I've pretty well worked in every area of healthcare except hospice.
Oh,
And
wow.
I had always said I would end in hospice. However, 2020 came, COVID came. I lost both parents in 2020, not related to COVID. And so I took a little time to decide, what do I really want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And through that process, I came up with a course through Conscious Dying Institute that allowed you to get a certification for sacred passage doulas, for coaching and doulas to help people through end of life. Sometimes it starts with a simple diagnosis that people are afraid of. Sometimes it's because I've lost a loved one and I don't want to go through the same things they did. So, our course is a 6-month course, a lot of training, a lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of heartfelt, honestly, healing of yourself to
Wow.
be able to do this work. So, I graduated in 2021, actually, January 2022, and began my journey. I am still an online teaching assistant through
Okay.
Conscious Dying Institute. So we have courses that go on. Conscious Dying Institute has recently changed to Conscious Dying Collective. So if anybody has a passion at end of life, I would recommend that they go to the website and see if that journey is something they would love to do.
Wow, that's awesome. That's
My
awesome.
why, Matt, goes way back to when I was 16 years old, and my great grandmother was laying in bed, passing in front of the entire family.
Mm.
And she was in her front room in her bed, and she looked at her daughters and said, "Just let me go. I'm ready."
Mm.
And I found myself being 3 generations back. I was kind of against the back wall, listening
Wow.
in. And at the time, all of the daughters were saying, "Mama, we just got to call the ambulance. You can get better. We're going to go to the hospital. It's going to be okay." And I'm looking at a frail 90-plus-year-old woman with her hands folded over her chest, just saying, let me go.
Wow.
And so I kind of spent those few minutes talking to somebody way bigger than I am, saying she does not want to go to the hospital.
Mm.
Take her. She's ready. And I listened to the ambulance coming in. She lived in an old farmhouse that had the old lane that you go down, and the ambulance pulled up, and all of the sirens and everything went off, and they opened up the back to bring the gurney out, and she took her last breath.
Mm.
And I watched a lady die where she wanted to be, her terms, her way. Her family was there. They all loved her. She was not alone. She, in her mind, had no unmet needs to stay. And she took her last breath.
Mm. Wow. That's a great story. Thanks for, being so vulnerable and sharing that. I mean,
You
that's
know,
that's
that lady
amazing. How old were
stayed
you at that
in
point?
16.
Okay. Wow.
16 years old. So she has stayed in my heart. Um, Ever since then, it was, that goes way back. I'm going to tell how old I am. It was 1994, no, 1974 when that
Okay.
happened. And so it's been a long lasting thing that I hold dear in my heart, that I feel like not everybody's end of life is going to be exactly what they
Mhm.
want, but we need to help them process and be as close as they want to be.
Wow. That's awesome. That's an interesting story. I guess maybe share with me what had happened in your life up to that point where you were, as a 16-year-old, that could be tragic for some 16-year-olds, but for you, it sounds like it was, it was like a spiritual moment. Maybe
That
share
it
with me
was.
what caused you to see it differently than most people.
Our family was always, you went to great grandma's house
Mm.
every holiday, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, every Easter. We hunted Easter eggs at her house. July the 4th, you had sparklers. That was way before all the great big fireworks and
Got it.
everything. And you just had a close knit family. And I watched that family, and I watched them take care of people that could have injury and heal from it. And I saw them let people leave this life knowing that that was the best thing to happen. And so to me, she was ready. She was saying she was, and it was peaceful. There was peace in that front room of that small little house, even though there was a little chaos on whether or not she needed to go to the emergency room. Peace was there. And so I guess that was the beginning of things that I should have listened to maybe a little bit closer. Maybe I should have gone into hospice as soon as I could. But I think my journey helped me complete who I am. Not only did I go on from 16 to get my LPN, I've
Okay.
worked for attorneys, I've worked in finance. So I've just got a really good broad footing to say, let's talk about where you are today.
Mm. Wow.
And it's
That's awesome.
interesting. I have some of the greatest clients on earth. Some are working through very traumatic issues right now, that they're facing a diagnosis that they know is going to take their life, but they want to be prepared. So, what we do as a sacred passage doula, Matt, is I take you as a person and I consider 5 domains, and that's your physical body,
Okay.
your mental domain, emotional, spiritual, and practical. What do you want at end of life? How do you want your body to be taken care of? And we take each of those, we break you apart, we ask questions specifically related to that, and then we pull in things that may be holding you back, things that you're concerned about, things we need to work on. We look at what your reality is and what your vision is.
Mm.
And then we prepare action steps to get there. Preparation is part of the fun. Talking to clients and them thinking about things they've never done. We ask every client to bring us in a picture, and usually we just pick an age. But the last client we worked with, we asked for a 6th grade picture. So you can imagine. And when we got to the house to visit with them, because Ashley and I had two clients that we were working with at the
Okay.
same time, they looked at me and said, "Why did you pick sixth grade?" And I said, "We just wanted you going back and looking at life." She said, "We did. For hours and hours, we looked at pictures,
Wow, that's awesome.
memories
Yep.
that we don't look at. We've got them all in the closet, right? Or
Mhm.
digitally maintained for us. But how often do we spend them going back, looking at life that we've lived?
Wow, that's awesome. That was a great exercise. I think we should all probably do that, not just when we're at the end of
I
life.
tell you, the greatest client for me, honestly, is somebody thinking about getting married.
Hmm.
Let's talk about life
Yep.
before you become one and bring in two separate people that may have different baggage. And let's talk about it and see if there's things that are corrected. I mentioned Ashley Bright.
Okay.
She is my partner,
Got it.
and we own a company called Life Journey Advisors.
Got it.
And the class that we were doing with our clients is called Complete Your Circle. There's death, there's death. We all understand that. But let's go back. We have birth.
Hmm.
We have 9 months to prepare for birth. We talk about a doula. We talk about the doctor we want, where we want to give birth, what we're going to bring the baby home in, what the room's going to look like when we bring that baby home. The same preparation should be done on the backside. Death does not need to be a medical event.
Hmm.
It should be a community event.
Yep.
Where do I want to be? Do I want my blanket that my daughter made me because that brings me the most comfort in my life right now? Do I want my dog to be up on the bed with me because he comforts me? Do I want my friends there? Do I not want my
Hmm.
friends there? Do I just want my family there? That's what we work on through the entire process is what are Matt Helton's wishes. We get them formatted. We have a sheet that we utilize. And then when things come up that needs to be revisited, we revisit it annually.
Wow.
And then when it's really needed, we go to Matt's family and goes, "Here's what Matt wanted. Let's work through this together."
Wow, that's awesome. It sounds like, I was thinking through what your superpowers are, and it sounds like one of them is staying calm, in difficult situations. I guess maybe any other superpowers you have, and then how those powers allow you to help maybe give us a story or two of specific clients that you've helped over the years.
Matt, being calm is something that we all have to work on every day. What I
Mhm.
find is, though, when I walk into a client's home, it's their world and their environment. And I have to leave all of my biases or negativity at the door. I'm there for them only. And sometimes that's the only peace they have when we first walk in. Families upset, families much like mine. "Mom, you need to go to the hospital. You need to go right now. We're going to fix this." And when we've already talked to mom and she says, "Nope, don't want to go to the hospital. I want to stay at home."
Wow.
The best way for us to turn the energy in that room is to come through calmly, lovingly, but able to remind the family that this event is your mom's.
Mm.
It is not yours. It's
Wow.
her journey. It is
Mhm.
not yours. And it brings a lot. We like to talk to families when we're going through our classes if we know there's going to be struggles, because let's go ahead and talk about it now. If there's 5 or 6 in the family and one wants everything done and one wants to let mom go and the other 3 don't know, nothing is any worse. I remember years ago being in the hospital, having a patient, code was called, one in the room saying, "Let my daddy go," and one running down the hallway, "Don't let my daddy die. Don't let
Mhm.
my daddy die." And you've
Wow.
got healthcare people doing what their chart tells them to do, and you got two siblings squabbling at each other at a time that they should be able to walk that journey together.
Mm.
So that's another one of the many whys that I have. Having been a nurse for over 20 years, you see a lot. You see families that do this right and do it so well. Some families never lost this. They come together at a time of death. They hold each other. They comfort each other. Some of our cultures do a great job at supporting each other. I wish we could all pick up aspects of what they do.
Mm.
One culture I'm thinking of in mind, the first week after a death, the person that lost a loved one does nothing. It is done for them so that all they have to do is to love that person that they've lost.
Wow.
And think how not easy, easier to have that time to spend just processing the significant loss that we've had and starting that journey. Because grief comes and it stays, Matt.
Mm.
It's how we deal with grief.
Yep.
That's
Wow.
really important.
That's awesome. I get, just the way you talk and the way you carry yourself. I could, I would characterize death for most people and most families would be chaotic. There's chaos, there's what's going to happen. It's going to get better, not get better. He going to get better, not get better. I just see you as that calming force that can come into a family, and just the way you speak and your background and the way you carry yourself. I could see that just making that chaotic situation go so much better, and transition from chaos to a celebration is what it sounds like. You try to get people, hey, mama had a great life. Daddy had a great life. How do we celebrate what's about to happen? Which is an amazing job to be part of people's life in that. So congrats to you.
Absolutely. Matt, I have people that as we start talking with them are starting early in this plan. And what we find is a lot of people that contact us have not made any plans whatsoever. We've lived life the way we wanted to, but now we've got this diagnosis and we know we're going to have caregivers, but we want to stay home. And when we start talking about the cost associated with that care, faces drop, eyes drop. We can't afford that. And as a doula, we try to dig just a little bit deeper. And when I walk into a home, one of the things I consider is, do you own your home? Do we have some equity here? If we don't have what we usually call liquid cash assets, do we have some underlying assets we're not even thinking about? And sometimes that's the home that 90-year-old is living in.
Mm.
The family may not even think about it. They're not really thinking about moving to the home. They all have their homes somewhere else, but they don't think about that being an asset. And that's the reason why we partner with people like Matt Helton, because you guys bring in a solution to lacking funds to provide the care that our clients want at end of life.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, our goal is to make sure that there's no one that owns a house doesn't miss out on the care that they deserve. I mean, a lot of people work their whole life to build equity, to pay the house off, to get it all paid off, to die, unfortunately, by themselves or with subpar care. And,
Yes.
when they really, I like to say, they could afford it, they just don't know that it's buried in their backyard. The money they need is buried in the house. So we just show them how to do that from some unique solutions, just to make sure they can either have the in-home care or the end of life care that they need and deserve. So thank you for pointing that out. So,
Well, you're welcome.
yes, ma'am. And I don't want to hold you all day. You've shared some amazing ideas and shared with it how you work and how you make people's end of life a celebration. Anything else that we need to know? And most importantly, how could they get in touch with you? And I'm sure, as they can tell from your accent, you're from New York. Is that right?
Absolutely. You can tell, right?
Okay. Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm not as deep south as I might sound. I
Okay.
actually live north of Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And that has been home to me pretty well all my life.
Fantastic.
Ashley and I are working in Middle Tennessee
Okay.
on a live status, but we can virtually work with clients anywhere if that need arises.
Yeah. Okay.
The great thing is we have doulas that we can actually refer to if you're looking for somebody to have one-on-one care in the state that you reside. So that's always available. The best way to touch us is to actually go to our Facebook page right now. Everything else is still under being built. Nothing works as quick as you want it to be. But if you're a Facebook user, go to Life Journey Advisors. There's a QR code that's pinned at the top.
Okay.
And you can click on that. It puts you inside our system, and you can actually ask for a free 30-minute consult with us to just say, here's where I am. This is what's going on. We need some help. And that's the very best way to get in touch with us, because we try to keep our cost down as much as we possibly can. So we work from our home environments, or as I say, my car is usually my office.
That's awesome.
And I hope that they contact us with any questions or concerns, whether it's, I think I want to be a doula, or I think I need your help, because we want to answer those questions.
Oh, that's awesome. So whether you're a professional that has a client that's in that age group where they have these questions, she also works with people that are getting married to kind of plan out the future, including the beginning of life and end of life. And then also too, if you are someone in that age group where you have these questions, please reach out to her. She is very, very generous with her time, as you can see, and thanks for spending it with us here today. They answer questions. They're very thorough and super thoughtful, and just blessings to this industry. And so I would urge you to reach out, connect, and ask questions, because she'll definitely make your life better and basically take that stormy environment a lot of people are in and really make it calm, just like she has today. So thanks again, Terri. We appreciate you having us on here and working with us on this Serving Seniors podcast.
Thank you, Matt. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Have a great day. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, home of retirement mortgage solutions. And we really do appreciate you checking out the Serving Seniors podcast today. Now, please go to the description down in the body of the podcast where you can subscribe to get future shows. Please click that notification button so you get notified when other shows drop. And also, if you can go to servingseniourspodcast.com, and we'd love to hear a comment about our show. We have a heart to serve seniors, and we have a heart to make sure seniors don't just survive retirement, don't just get by in retirement. We want to show seniors how to thrive in retirement. So if you know of anyone that's 55 and older that could use some extra cash flow, maybe the retirement's not going the way that they like, our retirement mortgage solutions are designed for folks, and depending on the state, they're either 55 or 62 and older, to make sure that they have that kind of retirement that they want. As long as they own a home and they're in a good equity position, there could be some solutions that they may not have thought about, or maybe they've thought of and they just didn't know how they work. That's what we do. So anyone in that age group that could use some mortgage advice, my team and I would love to be able to help them. Thanks again, and look forward to seeing you on the next show. Have a great day.